Hello, everybody. Welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. So, this Sunday market breakdown, I will cover first the DXY and then two trades I'm looking at for this upcoming week. I have no weekly review because, yeah, there were no clear setups to take last week from me that I missed. So, yeah, we'll go to the DXY. So, the DXY on the daily chart. What can we see on the DXY on the daily chart? We can see we can have a potential shoulder one here, this head, shoulder two, within that a bearish W. So a pattern within a pattern, which is nice that also this head and shoulders is acting as support here. So we have resistance here, support here, potential resistance here, structural descending trend line holding the price down. So this is aligning very nice. So I expect after that impulse to the downside, a correction to the upside, impulse, correction, impulse, potential FIB completion on the 4 hour, and then potentially going back to the downside. Because if I look on the weekly chart, I can see we have a 2 out of 4. So we have here our supply and demand zone here, this horizontal line acting as support, resistance, very nice sellers. When we went below it, we came back above it, we came back from below to the upside, and then we acted as resistance, which we set previous week and also that week before that this could potentially happen as resistance, which it did because it was a clear supply and demand zone, which holds very nicely. So we went to the downside, and what I can see in the long term is that we can have a potential shoulder one here, head shoulder two that want to be tapped for potential more upside momentum because we can see the trend is still bullish from this low till this high. It's a bullish impulse, and after that we can see that correction. We can see this is more impulsive than this second leg, so this pullback leg, as we can see. So it's very nice to see that. So I will go back to the daily. The daily was clear. We have here shoulder one, head shoulder two, potential bearish W here. So on the 4 hour, what can we see? On the 4 hour, we are still bearish. We have this last lower high. This is our lower low. So we need to first break that, potentially retest this as our shoulder one, head shoulder two, and then we can make a potential FIB completion from this low till this high. Maybe we can have here like this, tap of this high here, pull back, then FIB completion minus 6080. This is a potential scenario that we can have. So now I will go to the first trade. I'm looking at EURGBP. So on the daily chart, what can we see on the daily chart? We have a bullish M. So we have our first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. The trend is for me bearish because we have here our shoulder one, head, potential shoulder two here. But we can see this is a flat wall, so this can potentially go more to the upside because there's nothing to stop the price for going more to the upside. So this is our first support that could become resistance here. So this is a region where we need to be careful for, but I expect the price to go to the upside for sure till this point, because if we go to the daily, you can see if we draw our daily box here, you can see that there is also some big sellers here. These are clean sellers here, also some sellers, then support. So for me, it's clear supply and demand on there. So for sure, we can go to this zone. So this is what I can see on the daily chart. So this is a daily bullish M under the previous lower high. So this is against the daily trend, but we can still trade this correction to the upside. So if I go to the weekly and on the daily, I also need to say I took my FIB from this low till this high, like a bullish M under previous lower high on the 4 hour chart. We can see our first daily point or structure is this resistance that acted as support now. And we can see if we draw our daily zone further back, we can see this was also acting as clear buyers, and you can see this was at the same levels. This was sellers, here sellers, we went to the downside, we went to the downside, buyers kicking in impulsively. So I expect that also to be happen. And we have also structural ascending trend line from that bullish M, holding a price nicely up. Retrace candle, rejection candle, so not a retrace candle, rejection candle. And if I go now to the weekly, what can you see on the weekly? For me, on the weekly, it's 3 out of 4. I don't see this low and high as our bullish trend because it's too far away. It was, yeah, around 1 year ago, so it's too far away. But we can see that the monthly on this case is bullish because if I go to the monthly, you can see here monthly low high, it's bullish. So if I go to the weekly now, you can see we made here a big impulse to the downside. This was our last lower high. This is our lower low. So, and we broke that. So for me, this is our hit low and high. Some people will say, okay, we have here this low, then high, low, higher high. That's perfectly fine. But I can see this was our last lower high here, institutional candle. This was our lower low. And you can see if we draw our horizontal line here, then you can see we broke that with this impulse here. So for me, this is one leg, and then we had that impulse to the downside. So yeah, this is for me still bullish. You can also see it as this bullish M here, but yeah, it's not the clearest one. So for me, this is the low and this is a new high. So what can we further see? We have a clear weekly buying zone. So we have our trend with us, candle close. For me, it's not with us or against us because yeah, it's too small. The wicks are here also more retracing to the downside for me. So actually you can see it more as a bearish candle, but yeah, I can see this as not working for us, not against us. What I can see is working for us is this supply and demand. So this is acting as clear resistance, 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 support, then here, buyers, nice IC here at this zone, this support zone, holding nicely with 3 candles, 3 weeks already. So for me, it's a clear supply and demand zone. And the fib from this low till this high is within the fib levels. From this low till this high, you can see it's within that. So for me, a 3 out of 4 criteria to take it long. So for me, it's a good trade to take. So I will go back to the daily. And on the daily, yeah, the bullish M was clear, so I needed to say also on the monthly something, because on the monthly you have also something nice aligning is that monthly, this monthly low here, where the buyers came in from. You can see buyers, buyers, potential buyers, and we can close the monthly very bullish actually. So this is nice to see. So we'll go now back to the 4 hour because the daily was clear. And on the 4 hour, what can we see? We could potentially take here a fib completion, which I didn't do that, which I didn't do because I had a Friday, I had a busy day with my DJ setup and stuff. So I wasn't looking at this pair, but I could take it. So this was actually a potential mistrade. I could take Euro GBP. So this could be a break even. So actually one mistrade. So what can we see? We have a bullish M that we can take. So first leg, second leg, third leg, potential fourth leg going back till this IC. I want to take it at the IC. For me, it's a bullish M. I don't need a clear break of this yeah, higher because we already formed here on the line chart that bullish M, first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg. So, and we can see we have here our resistance, resistance, support, support wicks aligning with this IC as a supply and demand zone. So for me, we can take this trade. The only thing we need to be careful for is this potential here, this supply and demand zone here with that shoulder one, head, shoulder two, then this bearish W that can hold the price down here. And if I take the descending trend line. You can see we didn't tap it yet, but yeah, I will see if we tap it and we have there a rejection candle of that descending trend line, then I would not want to take this trade because yeah, it's then holding this uh descending trend line to the downside, and then we have here this bearish W also here that can potentially play out. So yeah, this is this trade I'm looking to set here a limit on. So yeah. Then GBPCAD, this is a more better trade, I find. So if I go to the daily, what can we see on the daily? We have here our bearish W, your first leg, second leg, third leg, potential fourth leg coming back. And within that, you have here your shoulder one, head, shoulder two, potentially that reversal pattern. So we have a pattern within a pattern. For me, it's a small pattern within a pattern. I can see our daily zone is at this IC because it's in the FIB levels. It's here also a nice zone for me. So yeah, it's very nice to see that. So actually we can take our limit, but if I go to the 4 hour, we can potentially also have a FIB completion. If you have here your first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, FIB completion, we can have that. So actually, if we have a daily pattern within a pattern, a small one, then we can just take our limit to the downside. So for me, this is the perfect zone with my stop loss above this shoulder one wicks, 15 pips, and then we have still 4% till the daily lows. Because if you set this at this daily IC low, you have 2.6. So for me, it's not anymore, yeah, good to take this trade because yeah, the RR, the risk reward is not good. So at this daily shoulder one zone high, this will be the good entry for me. So if I go now to the weekly, what can you see on the weekly? You can see on the weekly we have a yes, 4 out of 4 because the trend is bearish because you had here your low, high, new low. So for me, the trend is switched. And then we have here your smaller bearish W pattern. So, and we tap these weekly highs because this could be also false break. So for me, here are the sellers active. So we have that trend with us. So we have 1 out of 4. The candle close is for us. This is a bearish candle close this week when the market opens. So we have 2 out of 4. Then the FIB from this high till this low is within the FIB levels. From this high till this low. So you can see it's within the FIB levels of that weekly. And so this is 3 out of 4. And then the supply and demand zone, selling zone is for us. Why I say not yet is because we can potentially touch this IC, smaller bullish M here, that can potentially hold the price up. So then you have here also these buyers here, then sellers, buyers, potential resistance, potential support. So for me, then that supply and demand zone can work against us. So then is it potentially 3 out of 4? So it's still valid to take actually then. So we will see what will happen. So the daily pattern within a pattern, small pattern within a pattern. So we can take a limit at this shoulder one zone. And on the 4 hour, we can see we are going very impulsively to the downside and we can make also that correction. So for me, it's important. I will set my limits. If we come back with one daily candle or two daily candles, then I will still want to set my limits. But if we go and yeah, the trade is 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, yeah, then I would not look anymore to take this as a limit straight on that shoulder one. Then I would look for a pip completion or a pattern or diesel, something like that. So these were the trades I'm looking at this week, guys. So I hope you had a very nice weekend and have a nice trading week. Bye.